We have Nikolai. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hi, and we have Maxim. Welcome, everyone. Um, so, my name is Nicole. I'm your instructor for today, and we are going to be doing a speaking lesson to discuss online security and privacy. Um, First, I just want to say my name is Nicole. I'm from the United States. I live in Los Angeles. If everyone can just tell me their name and where they are joining from, and then we will get started. I will ask Oksana to start.
Hello everyone. Originally I am Russian, but now I am living in the USA, New York.
Okay, good. Welcome. And Nikolai?
Um, One moment. Hello, everyone. My name is Nikolai. I'm from Russia too. I live in St. Petersburg. I work as system administrator in one company. We develop some like projects. I like volleyball, like sports. In my free time, I play volleyball. I like books. I have a lot of books. It's about history, Second World War, or World War Two, and our history of our country. Um, what I need to say else? That's all.
That's good. Thank you. Welcome. Okay, Daria.
My name is Daria. I'm from Russia. Now I live in Kazan, the capital of Republic of Tatarstan. Maybe you know.
Okay, very nice. Welcome to the class. And finally, Maxim.
Hello, teacher and classmates. I am Maxim. I live in Russia, near Moscow, city name Liberty. I deal with fire alarm system. I'm technician.
Very nice. Thank you all. Welcome. Let's go ahead and get started with our speaking lesson. So the goals that we have for this lesson are on this page. We have three goals. First, we will practice talking about the privacy and security of social networks. We will practice talking about the advantages and disadvantages of online shopping and reliability of press content. And we will practice using reported speech, the subjunctive and pronunciation. Um, so by the end of the lesson, we will have hopefully had time to do all of these things. Okay, so we can skip the pronunciation for now. Um, we are going to start with our vocabulary, and then at the end, we'll go back to our pronunciation. So I think this part is important to tackle first. So what are we going to do here? So I'm going to go over each word and ask you guys to give me a definition or an example with that word in it, and then we will use those in discussion. Okay, so um, the first word we are going to discuss is coverage. Coverage. Um, how could you describe coverage? I will ask Nikolai if you could give an example. If not, we can help you out. Nikolai? Okay, there you
Mm-hmm.
are.
Coverage. Um, when I think about coverage, I think about um, coverage of
Something.
Wi-Fi
Oh,
in its
yeah. Uh-huh.
area.
Yeah, that's actually really a good example. You think about how much service, how much internet service you have,
How
right?
far?
Exactly. So coverage means many things. It's like, you could think of maybe putting a blanket over a certain area or something like that.
It depends. It depends of context.
Exactly. So in different contexts, it means different things. If we're talking about, for example, the news, we also use this word. We can say, wow, there's a lot of coverage on the president this week. That means the reporters and the journalists are creating many stories and giving it to us about the president this week. There's
Mhm.
lots of coverage. Um, that means the topic of the president is being covered, basically. So that's kind of a new usage for coverage. Um, let me see. I like to also go on Google and look at the news stories for the week. Yeah, it's used in many different ways. So here we have President Donald Trump comes to Hershey, live coverage. This is the type that we are talking about here. Uh, live coverage means that right now, some journalists are reporting on this story.
Mhm.
Another one, newspaper criticizes film's take on Olympic bombing coverage. So we're talking about the news and the media here.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, so for example, we can start with our first discussion question. Um, what things have a lot of coverage in your city, for example, in the newspaper or on the news? Is it about crime? Is it about weather? What kinds of things have a lot of coverage from the media, would you say?
Mm. I mm, I think that more bad news
Bad news.
about
Yeah.
crime, or something on something broken.
hmm Yeah, that's similar in the US as well. Um, usually on the nightly news, the news that comes on at late at night, it's something like bad or scary. um, so yeah, that is coverage. All right, thank you. I'm gonna ask Daria, uh, byline. Have you heard this word before? Byline.
Yes, it's a short article under headline where wrote about authors or um, summarize about the article.
Exactly, exactly. So it's just like she said, it's the line under the headline that says who wrote this article about the author and some short information there. Good. Let me see if I can find a picture of this. So if we look at some images here, it's a good one. So here, let's make this smaller. We have the headline, Step 21, adding a WordPress post to your website by Doug M. And then the date. This is an example of a byline. Okay. So have you ever had a byline before, Daria? Have you written some kind of article for your magazine or newspaper in your school or job?
Yes, but in Russia, I think the name of author wrote under the article.
Oh, after the article. Okay.
Sometimes in the websites they wrote it like so.
Okay. Good. Very good. Thank you. Oksana, your word is reliable. Have you heard this word before?
I think it's like trustworthy. Yes,
Like what? Say that again.
trustworthy.
Yes, trustworthy, exactly. So, for example, if I say, Oksana, I'm going to pick you up and take you to the airport. You believe me because I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. You trust me, right?
Yes.
Good. Um, okay. Can you tell me about a reliable person that you know, Oksana?
For me, it's difficult in the modern history. I'm sure that I not that for me same political person not reliable.
Oh, okay, good. All right, thank you. Okay, our next word is hoax. Hoax. Maxim, have you heard this word before?
Mm. Hoax, it's world about change mm, in people. For example, lottery.
What? Say that again.
Uh, it's world deal with lottery.
Lottery? Uh,
Yes.
not the lottery, but kind of different. So hoax is basically like a trick or a lie. Um,
It's maybe with funny situation.
Uh-huh. It could be like a funny situation. Exactly. It's some situation that is untrue. So many times on the internet, maybe a story comes out and we find out that the information is not true. Someone made it up to be funny or something like this. We call this a hoax. Um, can any of you think of some news story that turned out to be a hoax? Like it was not true that everybody maybe believed? Or it could be, yeah, trying to look at some example here. So it could even be any plan that's like a joke. So for example, it says they recognize the plan as a hoax, like almost like a joke, a practical joke. So you could say, oh, uh, hey, to your brother, sister, hey, did you know that we won $1 million today? They're going to say, what, really? And you say, no, I'm just kidding. That was a hoax. It's a joke, bad joke, but it was a joke.
Mm.
um, okay. Next word we have is biased. Biased. Has anyone heard this word before? Biased.
I heard, but I don't remember what it means.
Yeah. Let me see. So if someone is biased, that means they value or they believe one person more than another person already from the beginning. So maybe they don't treat two people fair. They always lean towards one side more than the other at all times. So probably if you have your own child and someone else's, you have your own child and then your own child has a fight with another child, well, you're going to believe your child because you're biased. You have a deeper connection with your child. So you have stronger feeling to believe your child.
Hmm.
Sometimes in journalism or the newspaper, some writers are biased and they don't equally, they don't give equal fairness to the people in the news story. So many times some companies of newspapers, they say we are unbiased. That means we are neutral. We don't take a side, we just stay in the middle. But when
Mm-hmm.
you don't stay in the middle, you are biased. And this could be with anything in life, not just newspapers. Let's look at some news stories. Let's see. Okay. For example, here's one news story that asks a question. Is search media biased? Um, discrimination survey shows who Americans are biased against the most. So you can be biased against something, or you can show some kind of bias. Um, so I'm going to put a question up here. This is for anyone. Um, talk about a time when you noticed that a person was biased. Can anyone think of a situation where this happened to you or where you've seen an example of this, maybe to a friend or family member or on TV or in a book? I think about when I see people who don't treat poor people fairly because maybe they have a bias against poor people or something like this. I'll make another example. I said it is illegal for judges to be biased.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone? This is for anyone.
Once again,
Okay.
I could you repeat?
Oh, yes. Just the example. Um, it is illegal for judges to be biased. I just said that the question
Mm-hmm.
is for anyone. Anyone can think or give me an example if anyone has one or something that they saw in a...
I think some magazines based for some person, for example, about Trump. Some magazines write bad about Trump. I understand correctly or not?
You said some medicines are biased?
Some magazine biased for some person,
Well, we usually use bias for people.
for people.
Yeah, for people. So people are biased towards other.
Some journalist.
Oh, yes, exactly. So we can, some journalists are biased. Exactly. Good. Yep. We can say that. Any other examples?
You take a good example that parents to their children.
Yeah, parents are biased to their children, of course. Good. All right, we'll move on. We have transparency.
Mhm.
Transparency. Has anyone heard this word before?
Of course.
Yeah. How would you use that in an example or explain this?
Um, Transparency is a property of something, of some object or some um, mm, some. I think transparency is applicable for news too. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Transparency of glass. My my hand is not transparent. You
Exactly.
can't see through it.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. So when we hear this word related to like news, some news organizations say, "Oh, we are 100% transparent." That means like they don't try to hide anything. They try to give you all of the information so that you know what's going on like this. Um, good. Let's see. Um, why do you think transparency is important? Like we're talking about in relationships. Why should we be transparent with each other? What are the benefits of this?
Mm,
Trust and honesty.
Yeah, we can trust each other. We can have honesty. Exactly. Um,
I think I think transparency it's not close to trust because if you trust somebody, you don't need to know all of him.
like
Because
I'm gonna be transparent.
you trust you don't
That's
need to
true.
see anything.
That's true. You don't have to say, "Okay, I'm transparent with you."
Mm,
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's beneficial when we want to make sure that people know exactly what's going on. Okay. Um, Next one is informative. Informative. This is similar to the word information. So I will just tell you if something is informative, it's giving you lots of information. So if you, for example, read a very good article about the economy and you learn many things, you can say, wow, that was very informative.
mhm.
It's an adjective. Um, what is something that has been informative in your life? This is a question for anyone. What could you describe as informative?
Then I read something about my job, some articles about new technologies, new services, new um, techniques of doing something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're learning something new,
Yeah.
exactly about your field. Good. Next we have tabloid press. Maxim, have you heard of this before? Tabloid press.
Mm,
Maxim, are you there?
um,
Oh,
it's I think maybe it's like yellow press.
I don't know, yellow press. Explain what that is.
It
Mm,
Russian.
Is it like about gossip?
mm, yes.
Okay, yeah. Then yes, I think it's the same thing. Um, it's like when there's uh, news stories that are usually not true. It's just like gossip stories. Like sometimes they have these magazines when you're at the grocery store and they're right by the checkout line, and you see some pictures of famous people and some made up stories that are hoaxes, that are untrue. We call these tabloids. In the US, we call them tabloids.
Mhm.
Okay. Next we have gossip. Oksana, how would you explain gossip?
Not true. Something not true.
Yeah, something
I-
that you hear.
I think gossip and rumor, it's the same things for me.
Exactly. Gossip and rumor we can put together. It's something that people are telling you, but you are not 100% clear or sure that it's true. Okay. Um, okay, Daria, last word is scoop. This may be a new word for you, but this is in
Oh,
relation to,
I think it's a sensation in the newspaper or in press. Yeah?
yes, exactly. So it's some kind of insider information like, oh, uh, I have the scoop about Brad Pitt. Like I have some information about this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Like sensation, yes?
Yeah.
Sensation, what do you,
Uh,
yes, but what
mm.
do you mean exactly by sensation?
I don't know. Just for me. Now a lot of sensation about all of our work.
Because I want to make sure that you guys are using that right, but a scoop is like you have some kind of insider secret information
Mhm.
Mm.
like this.
Last shape of iPhone since
Mhm.
it's scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If someone said, oh, I know what the iPhone 12 is going to look like. I have the scoop. You're like, oh, really? What is it going to be? It's like some new information that's secret that only
Mhm,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Um, okay, good. Are there any questions about any of these words?
No.
No.
Questions. Okay, perfect. We have lots of words. So what I want to do now is just ask each of you if you can choose one of these words and just give me a sentence in the chat box. So choose one word and use it in a sentence.
Mm, I'm ready.
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, Government of Russia every time talks about transparency of elections in our country.
Oh, really? Okay. What do they like? How do they say? Like, what is the message? What do they say?
Oh, then election finished. They talk about we have cameras, we have technologies, no
Mm-hmm.
fake votes,
Mm-hmm.
100%
That's good.
transparency.
Yeah, that's good example. Okay, thank you. Uh, is anyone else ready?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
ready.
Daria, go ahead.
Rumors and gossips can damage the people's safety life.
Very good. Rumors and gossip can damage people's lives. So just remember that gossip um, uh, is singular. It doesn't need the S. Very good. Oksana, I see yours. I do not listen to gossip about his life. Good job. And finally, we have Maxim. Do you have a sentence for us?
Mm, I watched mm, informative video about new technology yesterday.
Very good. Oh, and I realized we just missed one word. We have misleading at the bottom. If something is
Mm.
misleading, it points you in the wrong direction. So it's like incorrect information. We can call that misleading or inaccurate. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we have a few other words here. Just very quickly, I just want you to ask me any new words that you see here. I'm not going to go through each word, but if there's a new word, please let me know.
No.
Okay. Any others? New words on this page. We can do an example.
Decline.
Decline. Good. So if we decline, let me put it here. So to decline to not accept something. For example, if you say, oh, come to the party with me on Friday, you say, oh, no, thank you. That means you declined the offer. Example. Declined to gossip about her. For example, Oksana declined to gossip about her coworkers. She said, no, thank you. All right, does that make sense? All right, any other words from this page before we move on?
No.
Okay, next we have one more. Any new words from this page?
I think there is one word in bottom. We
Oh,
don't
yeah.
see.
Yes,
Oh.
thank you. Same thing again, yes. Any words?
I think all familiar.
All familiar. Okay, good. Let's move on. Okay, so Daria, I'm going to ask you to read number 1, Nikolai number 2, Oksana number 3, and Maxim number 4.
The article seemed very suspicious.
Sorry, can you read the whole sentence? I missed the first part.
The article seemed very suspicious.
Very good. Thank you, Nikolai.
That organization has a good reputation for honest reporting.
Good. Oksana.
The statistics in that articles are clearly false.
Maxim.
The controversial title is designed to grab your attention.
Very good. I will read these. I sent a private message to communications that I couldn't make it. Smartphones have had a significant impact on modern dating. I was concerned about some of their views, so I chose to block them from my account. I recognized the face when I looked at his profile. Okay, so moving on to a grammatical structure we call the subjunctive. So this, when we express a wish for something, we can use the subjunctive. It is used to express the desire for an ideal situation rather than the reality. It is mostly used in formal writing and reported speech. It is important you practice safe, honest habits. It is expected that you dress formally for the occasion. You can also use the subjunctive to indicate a suggestion or demand. It is suggested that you prepare for the test the document says you must appear at your hearing next week. So we see examples of this here um, on the bottom of our screen. So some useful expressions. So one use of the subjunctive is to express wishes, desires, or a hypothetical state. So you can use the following subjunctive, use the following, you can use the subjunctive after the following expressions. It is best that, it is essential that, it is important that, it is recommended that, it is a good idea that. And then you can figure out how you want to say it. For example, it is important you practice safe internet habits. So these are typical beginnings of this type of structure. And again, we use this to express wishes, desires, or a hypothetical or unreal state. I can say, like, it is best that you study English for 1 hour per day to improve your speaking, or it is important that you remember to take out the trash when you leave the house. So we're going to practice for the next couple of minutes expressing a wish or a desire. So these are the beginnings. Your job will be to create an ending for these sentences. For example, Daria, can you read the first example here?
It is desirable that you check your sources before sharing news online.
Perfect. Okay, so number 2 starts with, it is a bad idea. Nikolai, how can you finish this one?
It is a bad idea to make decision without reading enough information.
Exactly. Very good. Perfect. Oksana, it is imperative.
It is imperative that you have a strong password in your profile.
Very good. Maxim, it is necessary.
That means it is necessary play sports and eat healthy food.
To play sports. And what was the last part?
And eat healthy food.
And hockey sport?
No, I mean eat healthy food.
Oh, and eat healthy food. Perfect. Healthy food. Good. And it is preferable, this is for anyone, it is preferable that you...
Profile has a real photo.
That you what?
That your profile has a real photo.
Yes, that your profile has a new photo. Perfect. Okay, so all of these are great examples of the subjective structure. Any questions about this so far? Have you guys ever used these type of sentences in your conversation with people?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good. Let us keep looking at these and move on. So getting to the topic of the lesson of the privacy, what steps do you think people could take to protect their online privacy? So we're just going to think of some ways that we can protect their online privacy. But before we do that, I just want to ask you that, guys, like, do you ever feel unsafe like sharing your information online, like when you purchase something like clothes or you do a transaction, do you ever feel like it's unsafe?
Um, I think when you upload some photos and post information about yourself, it's uh, became property of the company
Yeah.
whose site is,
Hmm.
and they will use it to his own
Advantage, right?
deals.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that is true. So there are some people, usually the people that I hear saying this are maybe older people who don't want to put their card information online because they're afraid that somebody can steal it or something will happen, which actually does happen. But in my experience, I feel that younger people are more trusting um, of the internet and purchasing things online than older people. Um, so I would say that I generally trust that my information is protected, but I do know that maybe something could happen. Maybe someone can steal my identity. I don't know. So if you were talking to someone about protecting themselves online, what kind of advice would you give them? Like, and we're going to try to use the subjunctive. Maybe I would say it is imperative that you don't store your card number on a public computer, something like this. Okay. Um, what other advice would you give? And we can use,
um,
oops, we can use some of these phrases.
It's imperative that you set up a secure connection.
Yes, exactly.
it's a good idea to set up second factor authorization.
Yes, very good. Oksana, what would you say?
It is recommended that you have different password for different site.
Very good.
It's the
Maxim?
best.
Uh-huh.
Then you will
Yeah.
keep it in a safe place and not in stickers on your
Yes.
display
So,
or text
Exactly.
document.
Good. Maxim, can you think of one example?
It's recommended don't use um, unprotected sites.
Okay, very good. Daria, did you have something else?
Yes, it is best that you buy and install uh, antivirus programs.
Antivirus.
Fire, firewall.
Yes, it's yes, that you buy a firewall or antivirus. Very good. All right, those are all great suggestions. So talking more about journalism, we are going to respond to each of the questions below and then try to use vocabulary. Um, so how does investigative journalism differ from celebrity journalism? So how would you say?
Investigate journalism, then a reporter finds some information about bad things or good things about some people or some secret secret things of government deals or something else. Um, in our country, for example, investigate journalism is when journalists talk everybody about that politician are corrupted. He took money from somebody
Right.
to do not
Something political or something.
suspicious things.
Yeah, exactly. Our next question says, what will happen to print media in the future, in your opinion? So as you guys have probably seen, there's more magazines online and more articles online, and newspapers are not so popular. So what do you think will happen to these types of mediums in the future? Are they going to disappear completely, you think?
um, I don't understand why they exist right now. Why I still here? Why they still exist?
Oksana, what do you think? Are they going to go away?
When I came to to the US, US for me, I was surprised that people read a lot of print media here. In Russia, I did not see same. And
Oh, wow.
yes, and I see, I think it's depend of maybe people, maybe country. I think for me, print media, it's a good idea. I like.
Okay. Why do you like it? What makes you like it more than
I
online?
like how it say paper. I like paper book, not in my phone or smartphone or maybe. I
Do,
like to read and wrote something, and for me it's more possible than
Hmm.
when I was young, I like to take a fresh newspaper from box and feel it smells.
yes. It's
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good feeling, right? You cannot smell your phone. It doesn't smell like anything.
Mm.
Okay. Next one says, do you think that all types of journalism are equally useful to society? So is there one type that you think is more important than the other? Daria, what do you feel?
I think yes, because some tabloid press it's some for me it's some waste because they um, wrote information only for joke, maybe for what the word to
Here's another words.
yeah. Uh,
a lot of people prefer celebrity journalism or tabloid press than more information, more informative, more seriously journalism. A lot of people don't want to think about difficult things.
That is true. But Daria, are you thinking of a specific word? Uh,
Entertainment. They wrote these articles for
yeah,
entertainment people,
Entertainment.
not for
like
them. They knew something uh, good.
yeah. So we could say that they're writing to entertain people, not to inform people, right? So it's just to maybe get your mind on something easy or light, or you don't really care about some deep topics. You want to just read something for fun, for entertainment.
More polite.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. And finally, do you guys think that print media, like the newspaper, is more reliable than digital or social media? Like, for example, with digital media, we have updates every minute, every hour. And some people believe that so many, there's so much room for mistakes and inaccuracy when it's just constantly updating. Uh, on the other hand, when you have newspapers, you just have one time per day or per week, whenever the newspaper comes out. So do you think one is more reliable than the other? Maxa, this question is for you.
I think mistakes can all media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But I did in online mm, uh, very light.
it's very light, so like not high chance of mistakes.
Yes, change lighter then
Paper.
yes, then
Okay.
paper version.
Okay, good. What do you guys think? Is there print media more reliable than digital media?
Unfortunately, in Russia, uh, digital
Sorry.
media. Unfortunately, in Russia, digital and social media is more reliable than print media.
Hmm.
Because our print media wrote some information uh, for our government, and they uh, biased to these people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
And
Nikolai, what do you think? Oh,
if we read news from social media or digital media, we can check and analyze different meaning, different opinions from other people, and we can check sources where we get this information.
good, good. Nikolai, what do you believe?
Mm, mm, no. I I
I'm not sure
I
too.
not. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe it depends.
Maybe.
Okay.
If we can speak about Russia, it's one hand. If it's USA, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it depends. All right. Um, so what I want to do um, now, let's see, we are kind of winding down to the end of our time. I want everyone to think about something, some new idea, a new vocabulary word, or a new phrase, or some information about journalism, or internet security that they learned today. I just want each of you to tell me something that you can take away from the lesson. It could be a new word, a new phrase, some information about journalism or online security. What's one thing that you learned today? I can start with Maxim.
Mm, I don't understand our question. Could you repeat, please?
Yes. So if you can just tell us one new thing that you learned today. What's one vocabulary word or phrase or piece of information that you learned
Hmm.
um, today?
Okay. Um, New World's hoax
Okay, good.
and scoop, humor, rumor, and gossip.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Oksana, what about you?
we talk about press, and I think that tabloid press misleading people, misleading people.
Okay, misleading. Yeah. Good job, Nikolai.
Uh, I think most of all it's familiar for me. Maybe maybe I learned new words like scoop.
Okay, good. And finally, Daria.
I repeated the words, no, the words before unit,
Mm-hmm.
and I know now. I know the punctuation when I use a subjunctive.
Very good. Awesome. So I would like to recommend for everyone, if you would like to do further practice, at the end of this lesson, there's a homework section. And during this section, you can write down your vocabulary words that were your favorites,
Mhm.
or you can write down some vowel combinations. That is from the earlier part of the lesson, but I would focus here on what we practice with your vocabulary words so that you can remember those um, outside of this Lingo to Classroom. Uh, do you guys have any further questions for me? It could be about this topic or something unrelated.
No?
No, thank you.
I want to
No?
ask you where you. I see now you about 8 p.m.
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yes. So it's nighttime for me. What time is it for you? Is it morning?
Yeah,
Yes.
8
7
o'clock.
a.m.
7
7 a.m. Wow, you guys are up so early to study English. Congratulations. Yep, so
Thank
I'm in
you.
LA. All right, well, thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Good luck.
Thank
Bye
Yes,
bye.
you.
thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye bye, everyone.
Good night. Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye, bye, bye.